My wedding dress, white silk hugging my skin, felt like a trap as I stood at the altar. 150 pairs of eyes pierced through me. The church, buzzing with joy just moments ago, now hummed with gasps and hushed prayers. "I can't do this, Sandra." Luka's words sliced the silence, cutting my heart in two. "I told you, no makeup on our wedding day. Why would you defy me like this?" My bouquet of white roses shook in my hands as I faced the man I'd loved for 3 years, the one meant to be my husband in mere minutes. His dark eyes, once so warm, now glared with icy contempt. "Luka, please," I whispered, my voice barely audible. "It's just a bit of foundation and..." "No." He stepped back, his tuxedo flawless as my world shattered. "If you can't honor my wishes today, how can I trust you in marriage?" "This is over." Chaos erupted in the church. My mom's scream echoed. My sister Juliana's chair screeched as she leapt up. Uncle Simon's voice rumbled from the front, but my ears rang too loud to hear him. Luka turned and marched down the aisle, his groomsmen trailing like loyal shadows. The heavy doors of St. Mary's Cathedral slammed shut, a sound that would haunt me forever. I stood there in my expensive dress, my grandmother's 50-year-old veil now heavy as a shroud. The makeup he despised streaked down my face in black tears. But 30 minutes later, those doors would fly open again. Luka would come crawling back, begging for forgiveness, pleading to save himself from his own cruelty. By then, it was too late for us all. Please drop a comment with the country you're watching from. We love connecting with our global family. If you're new here, hit subscribe, your support fuels more epic revenge stories. Keep listening. I'm Sandra Wright, and I once believed in fairy tales. 3 years before that awful day at St. Mary's, I was a 24-year-old marketing coordinator in a cozy downtown apartment, dreaming of the perfect wedding, husband, and life. My brown hair shimmered in the light, my green eyes sparkled like emeralds, my mom always said, and my heart overflowed with hope. That hope nearly broke me. I met Luka Robinson on a rainy October morning at a coffee shop on Elm Street. He was tall, 6'2", with dark hair and a smile that made my heart skip. When he spilled coffee on my white blouse, his charm and apologies turned my frustration into laughter. "Let me get you another coffee," he said, his voice warm as honey. "Maybe a new shirt, too?" We talked for 3 hours straight. He was 28, worked in construction, and had just moved here for a fresh start. I shared my job, my family, my dream to travel the world. When he asked for my number, my hands trembled as I scribbled it down. Our first date was magical: dinner at a quaint Italian spot, a starry park stroll, and a kiss that left me weak. Luka seemed perfect, attentive, romantic, protective. That protectiveness started small. He'd comment on my outfits, nudging me toward more appropriate choices. He didn't like other men staring, so he urged modesty. At first, I found it sweet, he cared so much he wanted me safe. "You're so beautiful, Sandra," he'd murmur in my ear. "I just want you all to myself." 6 months in, I brought him to Sunday dinner with my family. My parents, Wright and Margaret Wright, lived in my childhood home, a modest 2-story with a white picket fence and Mom's beloved rose garden. Dad, a quiet mechanic, had grease-stained hands and a heart full of love. Mom, a part-time nurse, was gentle yet fiercely loyal. My sister Juliana, 20 and studying to teach, shared my green eyes but had a fiercer spirit. Then there was Uncle Simon. Uncle Simon, Dad's older brother, owned 3 city restaurants. Never married, no kids, he poured his heart into our family. He paid my college tuition when times were tough and vowed to walk me down the aisle if Dad couldn't. That dinner shifted everything. Luka showed up in a borrowed suit, hair slicked back, smile nervous but humble. He gripped Dad's hand, praised Mom's pot roast. When Uncle Simon mentioned needing workers for his new restaurant, Luka's eyes gleamed. "I'd be honored to work for you, sir," Luka said earnestly. "I know hard work, and I won't let you down." Uncle Simon eyed him, then smiled. "Anyone Sandra loves must be good." Come by Monday. That night, as I walked Luka to his old Honda Civic, he kissed me fiercely. Your uncle's a great man, he said. Your family's incredible. I can't wait to join them someday. I missed the cunning in his eyes, the shift from nervous to calculated. Love blinded me to the red flags that could have saved me. 2 years flew by in what I thought was pure joy. Luka climbed from busboy to assistant manager at Uncle Simon's restaurant. He upgraded from a studio to a nice one-bedroom, got a better car, better clothes, and gave me lavish gifts. But his control grew. He disliked my friends, calling them bad influences. He wanted me with him or family, not running around. Slowly, my friendships slipped away. He had opinions on everything. My hair needed to be longer. My clothes, too revealing. My job, I should quit so he could provide. Even my makeup. Real wives don't need fake beauty, Sandra, he'd say, wiping off my lipstick. Why hide? I want the real you. I wore less makeup, then none. I grew my hair out, bought modest clothes. I told myself I wanted these changes, that love meant compromise. Then came Valentine's Day at our first date Italian restaurant. Luka knelt before everyone, holding a stunning diamond ring that screamed sacrifice. Sandra Wright, he declared, voice ringing out, you've made me the happiest man alive. Will you marry me? Yes. I cried. The restaurant cheered. I called Mom from the bathroom, sobbing with joy. At home, I stared at the ring, picturing our perfect wedding, life, and future kids. Uncle Simon beamed when we shared our engagement news. He insisted on funding the wedding, calling me the daughter he never had. He wanted us to have a day to remember. He reserved St. Mary's Cathedral, the city's grandest church, and gave us a budget fit for a dream wedding. This is my gift to you both, Uncle Simon said, his eyes sparkling with joy. Sandra, you deserve the fairy tale wedding you've always wanted. Luka hugged him tightly. Thank you, sir. I'll cherish her forever. I missed how Luka's hug lingered, how his eyes held a scheming glint behind his grateful smile. I was too caught up planning my perfect day to see the cracks in our love. Wedding planning took over my life for a year. Every detail had to be flawless: flowers, music, menu, my dress. I spent hours scrolling Pinterest, flipping through bridal magazines, and emailing vendors. Luka let me take charge, as long as I checked with him first. Whatever makes you happy, baby, he'd say, kissing my forehead. Just keep the makeup light on our big day. I want to see the real you when we marry. I laughed it off. Luka, every bride wears makeup. It's tradition. His smile vanished. Not my bride. Promise me, Sandra. Just your natural beauty. His tone sent a chill through me, but I brushed it off. He was traditional, I told myself. It was sweet he loved me without makeup. Okay, I said, though part of me resisted. If it means that much to you. As the wedding neared, warning signs appeared. Luka vanished for hours, claiming late shifts at the restaurant. But when I called Uncle Simon to surprise him with dinner, he'd say Luka left early. He's running wedding errands, Uncle Simon would say. That boy's dedicated to your big day. Luka also grew critical. If I laughed too loud at family dinners, he'd pull me aside, saying I embarrassed him. A dress showing my collarbone? He'd make me change. When I mentioned keeping my job after marriage, he lectured me on how wives should support their husbands. Marriage is unity, Sandra, he'd say. We're one team, one vision. You need to follow my lead. Juliana, now 22 and finishing her teaching degree, saw through him. One night, as we stuffed wedding invitations, she spoke up. Sandra, Luka's not right, she said, her voice firm. He's changed since the engagement. He's controlling you. He's not controlling, I argued. He's protective. He loves me. Love doesn't mean cutting off your friends or telling you how to dress. She set down her pen and looked at me. When did you last decide something without asking him? I tried to answer but drew a blank. That's just how serious relationships work, I mumbled. No, that's how controlling ones do. She squeezed my hand. I'm worried about you. I was too deep in my fairy tale dream to listen. Instead, I dove deeper into wedding plans. 2 weeks before the wedding, I saw something that should have woken me up. At the grocery store, I spotted Luka's car outside an apartment complex across town. I nearly drove over to surprise him but parked across the street instead. Luka walked out with a woman, blonde, confident, striking in a sharp way that twisted my gut. She kissed his cheek, and he said something that made her laugh. He drove off, and she touched her cheek, watching him go. That night, I confronted Luka. He shrugged it off. That's Martha, an old friend from my hometown. I'm helping her settle in. She's had a rough time. Martha? The name tugged at my memory, but I couldn't place it. Yeah, like a sister to me. He pulled me close. You're not jealous, are you? There's nothing to worry about. I wanted to trust him. I needed to. So I let his kiss erase my doubts. But Martha wasn't just a friend. She was my cousin. The wedding morning was gray and drizzly. Good luck, my grandma always said. Tears before meant none after. I woke in my childhood bedroom, surrounded by Juliana and 2 college friends who'd stayed close despite Luka's nudging. My dress, a stunning silk and lace creation, hung on the closet door, paid for by Uncle Simon. Grandma's veil, worn in 1955 and by Mom in 1982, rested on the dresser. Today's the day, Juliana said, handing me coffee in bed. How do you feel? I should have been thrilled, glowing, ready to marry my love. Instead, a heavy weight sat in my chest. Nervous, I admitted. Is that normal? Totally, Mom said, bustling in with my slip. I was a wreck before marrying your dad, but it was the best choice I ever made. The morning blurred with hair, dress, and photos. Mom teared up seeing me in my gown. Uncle Simon, stepping in for Dad after his heart attack last year, got misty-eyed. You look like your grandma on her wedding day, he said, fixing my veil. She'd be so proud. Juliana opened her makeup bag. Time for your wedding look, Sandra. I've been practicing for weeks. I froze. Luka doesn't want me wearing makeup. Silence fell. Mom stopped fussing with my dress. My bridesmaids exchanged looks. No makeup? Mom asked, stunned. He says I'm beautiful without it, I said, the words feeling empty. He wants the real me. Sandra, Juliana said gently, makeup doesn't hide you. It enhances you for your big day. The lights will wash you out without it, Kelly, my friend, added. You'll want these photos forever. I looked in the mirror. My face was pale, eyes tired, lips colorless. I looked drained, not radiant. Maybe just a little, I whispered. Foundation and mascara. Something subtle. Juliana worked fast, applying light foundation, concealer, blush, mascara, and soft pink lipstick. I looked like me, but better, alive and glowing. Perfect, Mom said, her voice warm. You're absolutely perfect. But as photos were taken and details finalized, a quiet voice inside me whispered I was making a mistake, not with the makeup, but with marrying a man who controlled how I looked on my own wedding day. At St. Mary's Cathedral, I convinced myself it'd be fine. Luka would see my glow and laugh off his makeup rule. We'd have our fairy tale wedding, a story for our kids someday. The church was stunning, white roses and baby's breath lined the aisle, candles flickered, and organ music filled the air. 150 guests sat in the pews, my family, Luka's small out-of-state crew, Uncle Simon's business pals, and our co-workers. In the bridal suite, my hands trembled around my bouquet. Through the window, I saw guests arriving, dressed in their best, eager for our union. Uncle Simon knocked. "It's time, sweetheart." I glanced in the mirror. The woman staring back was radiant, her subtle makeup enhancing her natural glow. This was the woman Luka would marry, the future Mrs. Luka Robinson. The organ played "Here Comes the Bride." Uncle Simon took my arm, and we walked down the aisle. Guests smiled, some teared up. Mom dabbed her eyes. Juliana beamed from the altar. Luka stood there, dashing in his tux, nervous but perfect, until he saw my face. I saw Luka's face shift from excitement to shock, then to icy rage. His jaw tightened, fists clenched, and my heart sank. My fairy tale wedding was turning into a nightmare. "I can't do this, Sandra." His words rang through St. Mary's Cathedral like a funeral bell. Uncle Simon gripped my arm, as if he could keep me from falling apart. The organ music stopped, leaving only my shaky breaths and the guests' stunned whispers. "You defied me about the makeup." His accusation stung like a slap. "You deceived me." That word, deceived, hit hard. My knees wobbled, but I stood tall in my grandmother's veil, clutching my bouquet with numb hands. "Luka, please," I whispered, barely audible. "It's just a little foundation." No, he stepped back like I was toxic. "If you can't respect me today, I can't trust you in marriage." "We're done." The cathedral exploded in chaos. My mom's scream cut through the air. Chairs scraped as people stood. Uncle Simon's voice boomed, but the roaring in my ears drowned him out. I stood frozen, watching Luka, the man I loved, walk away. His groomsmen followed, their faces a mix of shame and relief. The cathedral doors slammed shut, the sound shaking my core. Then the whispers began. "She wore makeup after he said no." "Maybe he's right, she couldn't even follow a simple request." "Good thing he saw her true colors." Each word stabbed my heart. I wanted to yell that I was still good, that mascara didn't make me a liar, but I couldn't speak. I could hardly breathe. "Sandra." Juliana was at my side, her face pale with anger and shock. "We need to get you out of here." "No," I said, my voice firm despite the pain. "I need to know why he did this." Uncle Simon joined us, his face red with fury. "That boy just ruined his life. You're better off, Sandra." "He shamed me in front of everyone I love," I cut in, anger burning through my shock. "He made me feel worthless over a bit of makeup." Mom reached me, tears streaming down her face. "I'm so sorry, baby." I looked at my family and friends, their eyes full of pity. "It's my fault. I should have seen who he was." But I didn't believe that. I was crushed, humiliated, yet part of me still loved him, hoping he'd come back. I hated that hope. "We should go," Juliana said softly. "People are leaving, and the photographer." "Let them go," I said, my voice stronger. "Let them whisper about the bride who wore makeup and got abandoned. I'm done caring." But I cared deeply, it felt like my chest was caving in. Father Collins, the priest, approached gently. "I've never seen anything like this in 40 years. Want to use my office to rest?" I nearly agreed, ready to hide and cry as guests left, turning my dream day into gossip. But something in me refused to cower. "No," I said, chin up. "If Luka wants to make a scene, I'll give them one worth watching." I faced the crowd, many still seated, too stunned or curious to leave. My voice echoed clearly. "I'm sorry you came for a wedding and got a spectacle instead. I'm not the villain here. I wore a little makeup to feel beautiful on my big day. If that makes me unworthy to Luka, he never deserved me." Some nodded. Others squirmed. A few cried. "The reception at the Grand Hotel is paid for," I added. Join me to eat, drink, and celebrate that I won't be tied to a man who ditched me over something so small. Uncle Simon squeezed my shoulder. That's my girl. Before anyone could react, the cathedral doors burst open with a loud bang. Luka stood there, tuxedo messy, hair wild, eyes panicked. He spotted me and ran down the aisle, shoving past guests, tripping on my dress as he dropped to his knees. Sandra, please, he gasped, clutching my dress. I messed up. Forgive me. Marry me. The silence was thick, eager. I looked down at the man who'd humiliated me, now begging before the same crowd. Get up, I said softly. Not until you say you'll marry me. His voice shook. I love you. I was scared, nervous about forever. The makeup thing was dumb. You're beautiful either way. Give me a chance. Part of me wanted to believe him, to forgive and pretend this was a bad dream. But those 30 minutes of pain taught me I was stronger than I knew. Get up, Luka. He stood slowly, eyes locked on mine. Does that mean you forgive me? It means I need to know why you left, and why you're back. Relief washed over him. I was scared, but I can't live without you. You're everything, Sandra. The doors slammed open again. A woman stormed in, heels clicking furiously. She was tall, blonde, striking in a harsh way that twisted my gut. It was Martha, the sister from the apartment. What are you doing? She screamed at Luka, her voice bouncing off the walls. You said you were done with her, that we'd start our life together. My breath caught. Gasps filled the cathedral as guests realized this wasn't just cold feet, it was worse. Martha turned on me. You pathetic mouse. He doesn't want you. He came to me right after leaving you, laughing about how easy it was to drop you. Her words hit like punches, but something about her face, her voice, nagged at me. Then Uncle Simon gasped, pale as a ghost. Martha, he whispered. Martha Clark. She faced him, recognition in her eyes. Hey, Uncle Simon. The truth crashed into me. Martha Clark was my cousin, Uncle Simon's sister's daughter, from a family we lost touch with after a fight over money. I barely remembered her from childhood visits. You're my cousin, I said, stunned. Martha smirked, cruel and proud. Surprise, cuz. I'm also the woman Luka's been with for 6 months. The cathedral roared with noise. Mom screamed. Juliana lunged at Martha. Uncle Simon gripped a pew, unsteady. I stood still, the puzzle pieces snapping together, Martha's familiar face, Luka's distance, his late-night errands. 6 months, I said, numb. 6 months, Martha echoed, smug. Since I moved here and he helped me settle in. One look at me, and he forgot all about plain Sandra. I faced Luka, who stood pale, eyes flicking between us like a trapped animal. Is it true? I asked Luka softly. He hesitated, mouth opening and closing. Sandra, I can explain. Is it true? Yes, he whispered. But it doesn't matter. I choose you. I want to marry you. Martha's harsh laugh made people wince. Marry her? 20 minutes ago, you were thrilled to be free of her, saying we could finally be together openly. That was before, Luka said, then stopped. Before what? I asked, the truth dawning. His face fell. Before I realized what I'd lose. Your uncle's business, the connections, the security. I need that, Sandra. I need you. His words stung like a slap. He didn't want me, he wanted Uncle Simon's wealth and influence. You never loved me, I said, not questioning. I do love you, he insisted weakly. No, you loved what I could offer, Uncle Simon's job, my family's approval, an easy life. I glanced at the crowd, some horrified, some intrigued, some repulsed. You thought you could keep that and have Martha too, dumping me to take it all. That's not, Luka started. But something went wrong, I cut in, pieces falling into place. Something in those 30 minutes made you see you couldn't just leave me. Luka paled. Martha glared at him, eyes sharp. What happened, Luka? I pressed. Why'd you come back? He looked sick. Sandra, please, let's. Tell her, Martha snapped. Tell her why you crawled back. Martha, don't, Luka begged. Her eyes burned with betrayal. She thought she'd won him, her prize against the family that shunned her. Now he was begging me instead. Your uncle fired him, she spat. Right after he left, Simon called the restaurant and banned Luka from his job, as a customer, even takeout. I turned to Uncle Simon, rigid with anger. You fired him? Damn right, he growled. He shamed my niece in front of everyone. Did he think I'd keep him on? There's more, Martha said, voice shrill. Tell her about the apartment, Luka. The car. All the perks you're losing. My eyes widened. The apartment, Uncle Simon owns it. Luka nodded, defeated. The car? Company car? Yes, he whispered. You walked out on me and lost everything, I said slowly. Your job, home, car, half your things. Without me, you're left with nothing. That's not the only reason, he tried. Yes, it is, I snapped. If you loved me, you'd never have left. His shoulders slumped. For the first time, Luka looked small, a selfish man who'd miscalculated. Martha wasn't done. She faced him, her smile venomous. I'm pregnant. The cathedral went silent. You could hear a pin drop. I felt detached, like I was watching a movie, not living it. What? Luka's voice was faint. You heard me, Martha said, hand on her flat stomach. I'm carrying your child, Luka. The one you made while engaged to her. Her words hit like a truck. He'd cheated with my cousin and gotten her pregnant. While I planned our wedding, picked flowers, dreamed of our kids, he was starting a family with her. How long have you known? My voice sounded far away. Martha smirked triumphantly. 2 weeks. I told him after your bachelorette party. That night, I'd been celebrating with friends, gushing about marrying my soulmate. Meanwhile, Martha told Luka about their baby. That's why you've been weird lately, I said, connecting the dots. The delays, the makeup obsession, you wanted an excuse to ditch me without looking bad. You planned to blame me, I continued, voice firm. Make it my fault for breaking your rules. You realized you couldn't lose it all, Martha added bitterly. So you came running back, coward. Luka spun to her. You said you'd wait. You said we'd sort it out after the wedding. I never agreed to that, Martha screamed. I wanted you to choose me, not cling to your cozy life. Juliana snapped. She'd been frozen in shock, but now she lunged, slapping Martha so hard the sound echoed. How dare you? Juliana growled, voice shaking. You used our trust to ruin my sister's life. Martha clutched her cheek, eyes blazing. Your sister could never keep him happy. I gave him what she couldn't. What? Juliana laughed coldly. A pregnancy and guilt? Nice work. It's not a scare, Martha said icily. I'm 3 months along. 3 months? That meant she got pregnant when we sent out invitations. It wasn't a one-time slip, it was ongoing. While I picked wedding favors, he built another life. Something broke inside me, not my heart, already shattered, but my sense of self-worth. Get out, I said quietly. Everyone looked at me. Luka's face lit with hope, thinking I meant Martha. Both of you, I said, voice clear. Get out of my sight. Sandra, please, Luka begged. I know it's bad, but we can fix this. People mess up. Mess up? I stepped closer, veil trailing like a flag of surrender I was ready to raise. Forgetting milk is a mistake. Being late is a mistake. Getting my cousin pregnant during our engagement isn't a mistake, it's betrayal. But I love you, he pleaded. I choose you. No, you choose Uncle Simon's money and the life I represent. You can't have me and her and expect me to accept it. I turned to Martha, still holding her cheek. You were always jealous, even as kids. Some things never change. Martha's face twisted. At least I'm not weak enough to take back a man who shamed me in front of everyone. You're right, I said calmly. I'm not taking him back. Martha's relief turned to confusion as Luka's face fell, devastated. Wait, Martha said, her voice slow and sharp. If you're not taking him back, and he doesn't want me, then. You both get what you deserve, I finished, my tone steady. I faced the crowd one last time. Many had left during the drama, but 50 or so stayed. Watching like this was better than any TV show. Everyone, the spectacle's over. No wedding, no happy ending, just the truth. The people you trust most can hurt you the worst. I started down the aisle, my heels clicking on marble, my dress dragging like a fading dream. Uncle Simon walked beside me, Juliana on my other arm. Sandra, wait, Luka called, voice desperate. I kept walking, not looking back. Don't follow me, Luka. No calls, no texts, no showing up. We're done. What do I do now? He shouted, panic cracking his voice. I don't know, I said, still moving. Maybe figure out how to support your baby. Martha's sharp gasp echoed behind me, followed by Luka's groan. He'd been so focused on winning me back, he forgot his affair's consequences. The cathedral doors shut with a heavy thud. Outside, the drizzle matched my mood. Guests lingered on the steps, unsure whether to stay or leave. Sandra, Mom said, appearing beside me. Let's get you home, out of that dress. No, I said firmly. I'm going to the reception. The reception? Juliana stared. You're not serious. I am. Uncle Simon paid a fortune for it. I'll make sure people enjoy the food and music. I smoothed my dress, hands steady now. Plus, I have something to say. The Grand Hotel's ballroom was a winter wonderland, white roses, silver accents, soft lights, a dance floor meant for our first dance as husband and wife. Caterers set up the buffet. The DJ tested his gear. Everything was perfect for a celebration that wasn't happening. I entered in my wedding dress, head high, family at my side. Hotel staff stared, torn between pity and curiosity, word of the church disaster clearly spreading. Ms. Wright, the coordinator said nervously. I heard about the ceremony. Should we pack up? No, I said. We're having a party, just not a wedding. About 60 people came, family, close friends, and some coworkers likely drawn by drama as much as free food. Luka and Martha stayed away, though I braced for another scene. I stood at the head table, where Luka and I should have sat as newlyweds, facing confused guests. Uncle Simon handed me a microphone from the DJ, and I tapped it lightly. Thank you for coming, I said, voice clear. This isn't the party you expected. A few uneasy laughs broke the silence. There's no wedding today. Luka chose my cousin Martha, who's carrying his child. I said it calmly, like stating the weather. But I'm not broken. I'm grateful. The room went quiet, all eyes on me. I'm grateful I saw Luka's true colors before tying my life to his. I'm grateful I'm stronger than I knew. And I'm grateful for you, those who love me, who stayed after the most humiliating moment of my life. I raised the champagne Juliana gave me. So let's eat Uncle Simon's fancy food, dance to paid-for music, and celebrate that I'm free to find someone who truly deserves me." The applause roared. People leapt up, cheering like I'd given a show-stopping speech. Maybe I had. The party was unlike any reception I had seen. Everyone seemed determined to lift my spirits, as if making up for my humiliation. I danced with Uncle Simon, cousins, old friends. I laughed until my sides ached and ate cake meant to have Luka and me on top. Then Luka's mom arrived. Mrs. Robinson, a fierce woman in her 60s, had come from 3 states away for her son's wedding. I liked her, honest, hardworking, a single mom who raised Luka after his dad left. She marched into the ballroom in her navy dress, eyes locking on me. I braced for her to defend Luka or blame me. Instead, she hugged me tightly. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I'm ashamed of my son's actions." She pulled back, tears in her eyes. "I didn't raise him to treat women like this," she said, voice shaky. "After the church, I wanted to hide." "You deserved better, Sandra. You don't need to apologize." "Yes, I do," she interrupted. "I know Luka's selfish streak. I should have warned you." She squeezed my hands. "You're too good for him, and you've always known it." A commotion at the entrance cut us off. Martha stormed in, face red, mascara streaking, now in jeans and a t-shirt but still ready for a fight. "Where is she?" she yelled, voice slurring slightly. "Where's the princess who thinks she's too good for my man?" The music stopped. Conversations died. All eyes turned to Martha. "I'm here," I called, stepping forward in my dress and veil, still the wronged bride. Martha glared, struggling to focus. "You think you're perfect, don't you? Better than me with your family's money and connections." "I think I'm better than you because I don't steal other women's fiancés," I said calmly. Gasps and nervous laughs rippled through the crowd. "He never loved you," Martha screamed. "He said you were boring in bed, dressed like a grandma, that marrying you was a life of nothing special." Her words were meant to wound, to shame me again. This morning, they would have crushed me. But after today's fire, I was untouchable. "If he never loved me," I said softly, "why did he beg for 30 minutes to take me back?" Martha's face reddened. "Because he's weak. Scared to start over without your uncle's money." "Exactly," I said. "What does that make the father of your child?" Her eyes widened, the truth hitting her. If Luka only wanted me for money, and crawled back for it, what was she? A fling? A fallback? "You two deserve each other," I said. "Raise your child on lies and betrayal." Martha opened her mouth, but Mrs. Robinson stepped forward. "You," she said, pointing at Martha, "stay away from my family." "Your family?" Martha laughed bitterly. "I'm having your son's baby. I'm family now." Mrs. Robinson's face paled with fury. She slapped Martha hard, the sound echoing. "That's for ruining a good woman's day," she said coldly. "Come near Sandra again, and it'll be worse." Martha clutched her cheek, stunned, then fled, leaving only the scent of cheap perfume and desperation. Mrs. Robinson faced me, tears in her eyes. "I meant it, you're too good for him. Promise you won't take him back, no matter what." "I promise," I said, and I meant every word. As the party swirled around us, a nagging feeling lingered. Luka and Martha lost this round, but people like them don't quit. They'd return, probably when I least expected, clawing at the ruins of their choices. I didn't yet know how fierce my revenge would be. 3 days after the failed wedding, I sat in Uncle Simon's office above his main restaurant. He was on the phone, reshaping Luka and Martha's lives with every call. "Yes, their lease is in both names," he said. "But I own the building, and I'm enforcing the morals clause. Check Section 12. He hung up, his face grim but satisfied. "They're out by week's end." "Uncle Simon, you don't have to." I do, he interrupted. That boy shamed our family. That girl used our trust to hurt you. They made their beds. Over 3 days, I saw the fallout pile up. Uncle Simon didn't just fire Luka. He called every business contact in town, spreading word of Luka's true character. In a city where reputation is everything, Luka was unhireable. The eviction was just the start. Luka's car? Company-owned, now repossessed. His credit cards, backed by Uncle Simon's reference? Cancelled. Even his gym membership, gone, since Uncle Simon was on the board. He built his life on our family's trust, Uncle Simon said, making another call. Now he sees what's left without it. But the real thrill came from the newspaper. Jenna Collins, a City Herald reporter who saw the cathedral chaos, called me. Her mom was friends with mine, and she'd been a guest. Your story could help women in controlling relationships, she said. Your strength was inspiring. I agreed to an interview, partly to help others, mostly to expose Luka. The story ran Friday, headlined Local Bride Stands Strong After Wedding Day Betrayal. Jenna interviewed Luka's ex-coworkers, who spoke freely once safe. He bragged about marrying rich, one said. Said manipulating Sandra was easy, she'd do anything to get married. Another revealed Luka's boasts about his affair with Martha. He said he had it all, Sandra's money and Martha's wild side. Thought he was untouchable. The article exposed Luka as manipulative and abusive, detailing how he isolated me, controlled my appearance, and eroded my confidence. Martha's interview was the kicker. Jenna found her at the motel where she and Luka landed post-eviction. Martha, craving attention, spilled her side. Sandra was too boring for him, she said. Luka needed passion. I gave him what she couldn't. On her pregnancy, she claimed, this baby was planned. Luka and I have been trying for months. Sandra was just in our way. But Luka had told others the affair was purely physical, the pregnancy a mistake. When Jenna pointed this out, Luka snapped, bad-mouthing both me and Martha. The article painted them as liars, while I emerged as a graceful victim. Support poured in, calls, flowers, cards, even job offers from strangers impressed by my resolve. Luka and Martha became outcasts. Friends said they couldn't go anywhere without stares or whispers. Restaurants turned them away. Stores ignored them. Martha's old high school friends stopped answering her calls. A week later, I saw them at the grocery store, buying ingredients for a family dinner. They were in the checkout line, bickering over cheap brands and clearance items. Luka looked rough, thinner, clothes messy, eyes desperate. Martha's hair was greasy, her skin blotchy, her hand on her stomach like it anchored her. Luka spotted me and rushed over, abandoning Martha. Sandra, thank God. I've been trying to reach you. I blocked you, I said, continuing to shop. Please, just 1 minute. This is a nightmare. I messed up, but I've learned. I'll do anything to fix this. Anything? I raised an eyebrow. Anything, he said eagerly. Leave town. Take Martha and your baby and vanish from my life. His face fell. Sandra, be reasonable. Then we're done talking. He grabbed my arm, his touch making my skin crawl. You're ruining my life, he hissed. Your uncle, that article, turning everyone against me, this has to stop. I'm not ruining your life, I said. You did that by betraying me with my cousin. I love you, he whispered. Everything I did was because I was scared of how much I love you. I tested if I could live without you. I can't. Please, one more chance. Once, those words would have melted me. I'd have forgiven anything, believing love fixed all. That woman was gone, burned away by betrayal. Let go of my arm, I said quietly. Sandra. Let go, or I'll scream loud enough for the whole store to hear. He dropped my arm, face red as nearby shoppers stared. You want the truth about love, Luka? I said, loud enough for them to hear. Love doesn't humiliate someone in front of a crowd. It doesn't cheat with their family. It doesn't get another woman pregnant during a wedding plan. What you felt wasn't love, it was control. I'll never let anyone control me again. I walked away, head high, my heart finally free of Luka Robinson. But Martha wasn't finished. 2 weeks after the grocery store, she showed up at my apartment. I'd expected it, people like her don't slink away quietly. They lash out, blaming everyone but themselves, always returning for one last fight. It was a Saturday afternoon. I was home alone, folding laundry and working on freelance marketing gigs I'd picked up after taking leave from my job. The doorbell rang, and I thought it was a delivery or Juliana with coffee. Instead, Martha stood in my hallway, looking worse than ever. Martha's blonde hair was greasy, tied in a messy ponytail. Her face was pale, puffy, with dark circles no makeup could hide. Her clothes hung loose, like she'd lost weight despite her pregnancy. But her eyes, wild, desperate, raging, made my stomach twist with fear. We need to talk, she said, shoving past me into my apartment. Martha, you can't. Shut up, she snapped, spinning to face me. Just listen for once in your perfect life. I left the door open, reaching for my phone. Martha knocked it from my hand, and it skidded under the couch. Sit down, she demanded. No, I crossed my arms, hiding my fear. Say what you came to say and leave. Martha laughed, a bitter sound. You think you won, huh? Turning everyone against us, ruining our lives with your newspaper sob story. I told the truth. If that ruined your lives, you should have chosen better. Better choices? Her voice was nearly a scream. I should have stayed away from your family. I had nothing, Sandra. Nothing. My mom blew every cent Uncle Simon sent on drugs and booze. I grew up in a trailer park, wearing hand-me-downs, eating church handouts. That doesn't justify betraying me. She stepped closer, alcohol on her breath. You had it all, nice house, college, a family that adored you, an uncle who treated you like his own. You never fought for anything. So you stole what was mine. I took what should have been mine, she yelled. If my mom wasn't a mess, if Uncle Simon had helped us like he did you, I could have had your life. Maybe Luka would have loved me first. The truth of her jealousy hit me. This wasn't just about Luka or me, it was years of resentment boiling over. But Luka didn't love you, I said softly. He used you, just like he used me. I was smart enough to walk away when I saw his true colors. Her face twisted. He loves me. We're having a baby. We're a family. Where's Luka now? Her eyes flickered. If you're such a happy family, why are you here alone, drunk, confronting me instead of with him? Her anger cracked, revealing pain. He's looking for work. It's tough since the town turned on him. He left you to deal with this pregnancy alone. He didn't leave, she said, voice shaky. He's stressed. We both are. Money's tight, and I've had pregnancy complications. Complications? Her hand cradled her stomach. The doctor says it's stress. All this drama, your family's pressure, it's hurting the baby. Despite everything, I felt a pang of sympathy. No one deserved that, not even Martha. I'm sorry about the complications, I said carefully. But blaming me won't fix things. My situation? Her vulnerability vanished, fury returning. I'm pregnant and broke because you trashed Luka's reputation out of spite. Luka ruined his own reputation by humiliating me at our wedding. You could have taken him back, she screamed. Forgiven him, and none of this would have happened. But you played the victim, made him pay, ruined everything. Taking him back meant accepting he cheated with my cousin and got her pregnant. It meant a life with a man who didn't respect me. So what? Martha threw up her hands. Marriage is compromise. You could have worked it out. No, Martha. Marriage is trust and respect. Luka had neither. What about me? Her voice broke. My baby? Did you think of us when you got your revenge? Did you think of me when you slept with my fiancé? The question hung heavy. Martha stared, searching for an excuse. I thought you'd fight for him, she whispered. I thought you were stronger. I was stronger. I walked away from a man who didn't deserve me. Now we're all miserable, she said bitterly. Luka can't work. I'm sick, scared. You're alone. I'm not alone. I have family, friends, my self-respect. What do you have, Martha? She sank onto my couch, fight gone. Nothing, she whispered. Luka blames me for ruining his life. Says if I hadn't told you about the baby, you'd have taken him back. He barely speaks to me now. Leave him, I said. She looked up, eyes red. I can't. I'm pregnant. I've got no money, no family. What about your mom? She died 2 years ago. Overdose. Martha wiped her nose. I came here thinking I could get close to Uncle Simon's family, have what you had, family, security, love. Pity stirred in me. She'd made awful choices, hurt people, destroyed lives chasing a dream. Beneath it all was a scared, lonely woman who never learned to build her own life. You could have had that, I said gently. If you'd come to us honestly, Uncle Simon would have helped. We all would have. Instead, you lied, manipulated, hurt people who could have cared for you. I know, she whispered. I'm sorry, Sandra. I didn't mean for it to go this far. But it did, and we all face the consequences. Her eyes pleaded. Can't you forgive me? Can't we fix this? I looked at her, a woman shaped by a hard life, now broken by her own choices. I forgive you, Martha, I said softly. But I can't fix this. You and Luka made your choices. Together or apart, that's your path now. I'm done with you both. She nodded, tears falling. I understand. At the door, she turned. For what it's worth, he loved you in his selfish way, more than he ever loved me. I know, I said. That's the saddest part. After Martha left, I sat in silence, reflecting on love, forgiveness, and revenge's cost. I'd gotten what I wanted, Luka and Martha suffered, their truth exposed, me the graceful victim. But revenge left me hollow. It didn't heal my wounds or restore what was lost. It just scarred us all. I never saw them again. Gossip said they left town a month later, some said California, others Texas. Uncle Simon hired a private investigator, not for revenge, but to check on Martha and her baby's well-being. The investigator tracked them to a cramped apartment in Denver. Martha had miscarried in her second trimester, and Luka had left her soon after. She worked as a diner waitress, barely scraping by, alone in a strange city. Uncle Simon sent her anonymous funds to help her start over. Why? I asked him. She's still family, Sandra, he said. No matter what, she's family. Luka, the investigator found, was in Arizona, doing construction under a fake name. He told people there I'd cheated and taken everything in a divorce. Even far away, he dodged accountability. By then, revenge didn't interest me. I just hoped they'd find peace, deserved or not. Healing took longer than I thought. For months after the wedding, nightmares woke me, standing at the altar, crushed by humiliation. I started therapy with Dr. Susan, a kind woman who helped me see it wasn't just heartbreak. It was trauma. You weren't just betrayed, she said. You were abused, manipulated, and publicly shamed. Trusting again, yourself and others, will take time. She was right. For months, I doubted every choice, from outfits to menu orders. The bold woman who faced Luka and Martha felt like a stranger. But I rebuilt myself slowly. I dove into work, tackling big marketing projects and launching my own consulting firm. Uncle Simon was my first client, expanding his restaurants into catering. Working with him showed me not all men were like Luka, some were honest and kept promises. Juliana became my rock. Freshly graduated, teaching at an elementary school, she made time for me daily. We'd lunch, shop, or chat at my place about everything and nothing. You've changed, she said one night over wine on my balcony. Stronger, but sadder. I lost more than Luka, I admitted. I lost my faith in fairy tale endings. Maybe that's okay, she said. Real, honest love beats fairy tales. She might have been right, but I still mourned the loss. The shift came 8 months later at Uncle Simon's Christmas party. I almost skipped it, wary of crowds and pitying stares. But Juliana pushed, and Uncle Simon escorted me himself. You've hidden long enough, he said gently. Show this town Sandra Wright is thriving. The party was at his newest restaurant, brick walls, soft lights, 100 guests from family to employees. I stood by the bar, sipping wine, chatting with an old coworker, when a man approached. Excuse me, he said, voice warm but nervous. Are you Sandra Wright? My stomach tightened, strangers still brought up the wedding sometimes. Yes, I said cautiously. I'm Michael Murphy, he said, offering his hand. New head chef at Bella Vista. Your uncle speaks highly of you. I hoped we could talk. His handshake was warm, steady. About what? A business idea. I've followed your marketing work, it's impressive. I'm opening a restaurant next year and need help with branding. We talked for an hour about his vision, great food, local suppliers. He was passionate, honest about his dreams and fears. Best of all, he didn't mention my wedding or treat me like a victim. He saw me as a professional, and I'd forgotten how good that felt. Want to meet next week to talk more? He asked as the party ended. I'd like that, I said sincerely. Tuesday lunch? I know a great spot, he said, then laughed. Sorry, you probably don't need a chef's recommendations. I laughed too, a sound I hadn't heard in months. No, I trust a food lover's picks. That lunch sparked a business partnership, then a friendship, then more. Michael was everything Luka wasn't: honest, supportive, secure enough to lift me up. He knew my story, everyone did, but never made me feel broken. He admired my strength. You could have let it destroy you, he said one night in the park where Luka and I once kissed. Instead, you grew stronger, more independent. That's courage. Some days I don't feel brave, I confessed. The bravest keep going despite fear, he said, taking my hand. You're one of the bravest, Sandra. 2 years later, we married at Uncle Simon's house, a small ceremony with close loved ones. I wore a simple cream dress, no veil. Michael's navy suit matched his kind eyes. Only 30 guests, all true supporters. Uncle Simon walked me down his backyard aisle, past my aunt's rose garden. Juliana, my maid of honor, glowed in pink. Michael's brother was best man, his parents they're from New Mexico. When Father Collins asked for objections, I held my breath, not expecting Luka, but ready to embrace my happiness. No one spoke. We vowed honesty, support, and respect, not control. Michael's kiss sealed it, my happy tears mixing with joy and relief for a man who showed me I deserved real love. The reception was at Uncle Simon's restaurant, with Michael's food and a jazz trio. We danced to it last, and I realized the pain of my first wedding led me here. False love taught me to recognize true love. Control showed me the value of a man who cherished me. Humiliation forced me to find my power. Uncle Simon watched, tears in his eyes, raising his glass in a silent toast. We both knew, living well was my best revenge. 3 years on, Michael and I have an 18-month-old daughter, Grace, and another baby due this fall. Our restaurant, Harvest, thrives with farm-to-table dishes and a warm vibe. I run my marketing firm part-time, with Uncle Simon as a key client and Grace's doting grandpa. Juliana married her boyfriend last year, and they're trying for a baby. She teaches 3rd grade, coaches drama, and helps shy kids shine. Mom spoils Grace with cookies and tea parties. Juliana's now seeing a kind man from her church, a widower who cherishes her like the gem she is. People sometimes ask if I think about Luka and Martha, if I regret being so hard on them, or if I wish I'd been more forgiving. Honestly, they rarely cross my mind. They were part of one painful chapter, a tough but vital lesson I couldn't have learned otherwise. I learned love without respect is empty. I learned a man who truly loves you lifts you up, never controls you. I learned public shame only breaks you if you let it. And I learned the worst moments can become the best, pushing you to become who you were meant to be. I'm Sandra Wright Murphy now, and I believe in love again, true, honest love that builds you up, not tears you down. That, to me, is the ultimate revenge.